Hello, dear listener. Welcome back to the Lawyer Talk, the podcast channel from BLawyers Vietnam. We are delighted to have you with us on today's podcast episode. And I am Bùi Quang Thái. Together with Mr. Huỳnh Kim Thành, we will be your host as we explore today's topic. Our discussions today will revolve around an extremely important form of investment that foreign investors are interested in Vietnam. This investment method including contributing capital and purchasing share and stake.
Hello Mr. Thái and dear listeners of the Lawyer Talk. I am Huỳnh Kim Thành and I'll be your co-host for today's podcast. And when working at BLawyers Vietnam, I often receive questions from clients about what is an investor under Vietnamese law. So before we dive into the main content, I would like to take a moment to share the definition of an investor according to Vietnamese law. According to Clause 18, Article 3 of the Investment Law 2020, an investor is an organization or individual who carries out business investment activities, including domestic investor, and foreign invested business organizations. And subsequently, in Clause 19 of this article, define a foreign investor as follows. For individuals, it refers to those holding foreign nationality. For organization, it refers to those established under foreign law that conduct business investment activities in Vietnam.
In addition to the concept of domestic investors and foreign investors, I just noticed that Mr. Thành mentioned another term that I would like to clarify further. That term is the concept of foreign invested business organization. And first of all, I would like to share with the listeners the concept of a business organization. A business organization is an organization established and operating in accordance with Vietnamese law, including enterprise, cooperative unions, and other organizations that carry out business and investment activities. Accordingly, a foreign invested business organization is an organization that has foreign investor as their member or shareholder. So when you engage with clients who are foreign investors looking to investing in Vietnam, Mr. Thành, how would you advise them to proceed their investment in Vietnam?
So when discussing this issue, it's important to note that under Vietnamese law, there are quite a few forms of investment firm, and specifically, foreign investor can consider the following forms of investment. First, they can invest by establishing a business organization. Secondly, they can invest through capital contribution, share purchase, or stake purchase. Additionally, foreign investor can invest by implementing investment project, or they can invest through business cooperation contract, commonly known as BCC for short. Finally, they can invest through other new forms of investment and types of business organization are stipulated by government regulations. Additionally, please note down that when the entity making the investment in Vietnam is foreign investor, they must meet specific conditions to carry out the above forms of investment.
With the topic of capital contribution, share purchase, and stake purchase by foreign investor, we will talk more about the condition and principle governing this form of investment for our listener. Would that be right, Mr. Thành?
Of course, Mr. Thái. First, I would like to inform our listeners as well as foreign investors that these conditions and principles are clearly regulated in Vietnamese law on investment and related guidelines. To ensure that our listeners and investors can grasp the condition and principle, Mr. Thái and I will thoroughly explore each regulation regarding the condition, principle, and other relevant provision on investment in the forms of capital contribution, share purchase, and stake purchases by foreign investors. To begin with, for a general understanding, foreign investors who intend to contribute capital, purchase shares, or stake in business organization established in Vietnam must meet conditions stipulated by the Investment Law 2020, including market access conditions applied to foreign investors when contributing capital, purchasing shares, purchasing stakes in business organization established in Vietnam according to the provision of the Investment Law 2020 and Decree No. 31/2021 of the government. Next, there are conditions concerning assurance of national defense and security, and conditions for land use apply to business organization that contains foreign investor, contribute capital or purchase shares or stake. If such business organization has a certificate of right to use land on the island, in the border commune, ward or town, or coastal commune, ward or town, other areas that affect defense and security, except for the business organization executing an investment project in an industrial park, export processing zone, high-tech zone, or economic zone established under the government regulations. In addition, any foreign organization or individual that receives shares or stake in a business organization established in Vietnam by a gift or exchange or another contract of transfer of ownership, right, as prescribed by law or through inheritance, should satisfy the condition mentioned above and carried out procedures in accordance with regulation applicable to foreign investor making investment in the forms of capital contribution, purchase shares or purchase stakes. For example, if a foreign individual inherits a capital contribution in a company in Vietnam, that person must also meet the required condition and carry out the procedures for registering the purchase of capital contribution as a foreign investor.
Based on the overview Mr. Thành just presented, I can see that the market access condition for foreign investor in the form of capital contribution, investment, share purchase, and stake purchase are specifically regulated under the Law of Investment 2020 and the Decree number 31, 2021 of the government. And when I assist clients with this form of investment, I noticed that the conditions outlined in these two documents are closely related to one another. Specifically, according to Clause 3, Article 9 of Investment Law 2020, market access condition for foreign investor specific in the list of industry and profession with restrict market access for foreign investor, or restrict list for market access list for short, include the holding proportion of charter capitals by foreign investor in a business organization. Secondly, investment method. Thirdly, scope of investment. Next, we have capital of the investor, partner participating in investment activities. And finally, other conditions specified in the law and resolution of National Assembly, ordinances and resolution of Standing Committee of the National Assembly, decree of the government, and international treaties to which the Socialist Republic of Vietnam is a member. Regarding the provision of Government Decree number 31, 2021 of the government, foreign investor must meet market access condition and principle for industry and profession with restrict market access. So I would like to share with our listener the regulation on industry and profession with restrict market access for foreign investor. First, industry and profession with restrict market access for foreign investor and restriction are specified in the law and resolution of National Assembly, ordinance and resolution of Standing Committee of the National Assembly, decree of government, and investment-related international treaties. For details, please refer to restrict list for market access provided in the Decree number 31, 2021 of the government. Secondly, market access conditions for foreign investors shall apply investment method specified in Investment Law 2020 and published and updated on the National Investment Portal. In addition to market access conditions I just mentioned, foreign investor and foreign invested business organization also need to fulfill the following condition, if any, when carry out business investment activities in Vietnam. A. Use of land, employ workers, natural resources, or minerals. B. Manufacture supplies of public service, goods or goods service under state monopoly. C. Ownership, trade of housing, real estate. D. Application of assistance and aid in the state in certain of industry, sector, or geographical areas. E. Participation in state-owned enterprise equalization program or plans. And F. Other conditions specified in laws and resolution of National Assembly, ordinance and resolution of Standing Committee of National Assembly, decrees of the government, and investment-related international treaties that prohibit or restrict market access by foreign invested business organizations.
And as I just mentioned, our listeners can refer to the industries and profession with restricted market access in the restricted list for market access for foreign investors, which is published in Decree number 31 2021. Alternatively, they can look up the specific condition for each sector on the National Investment Portal.
And for those industries and professions which restrict market access and associate limitation and condition, to whom do this apply, may I ask, Mr. Thành?
Yes, and specifically the restricted list for market access is applied to, firstly, is a foreign investor. And secondly, is a business organization must meet conditions and carry out investment procedures for foreign investor as stipulated in Investment Law 2023. When investing in establishing other business organization, contributing capital, purchasing shares or stakes of other business organizations, and investment in the forms of BCC. In addition, with regard to business investment activity carried out in Vietnam, an investor holding both Vietnamese and foreign nationality may decide whether to apply market access conditions and investment procedures apply to domestic investment or foreign investor. If market access conditions and investment procedures apply to domestic investor are selected, the investor holding both Vietnamese and foreign nationality is not allowed to exercise the rights and obligation of foreign investor.
Finally, one of the most crucial and challenging aspects when advising clients in investment in the form of capital contribution, share purchase, and stake purchase is the principle for applying market access conditions to foreign investors. This principle clearly outlines how conditions and restrictions are applied to an investor who seeks to contribute capital, purchase share, or stake in a company engaged in a specific industry or profession.
So, Mr. Thái, could you please elaborate this for our listeners?
Thank you, Mr. Thành. I will now go over the principle for applying market access restriction for foreign investor. First, for industry and profession listed in the market access restriction list for foreign investor, I would like to elaborate further on this. Foreign investors are not allowed to invest in industry and profession listed in Section A of the Market Access Restriction List for foreign investor, which is sector and trade not open for foreign investor, such as fishing and exploiting marine resources. Secondly, when investing in industry and profession listed in Section B of the Market Access Restriction List for foreign investor, industry and profession with conditional market access, foreign investor must meet the market access condition published in the National Investment Portal. Thirdly, except for the industry or profession listed in the market access restriction list for foreign investor, as issued within the Decree number 31 2021, foreign investor may access the market under the same condition as domestic investor. And lastly, foreign investor engaged in activities across different industry or profession listed in the market access restriction list for foreign investor must satisfy all market access conditions applicable to those sector or trade.
In addition to the principle that apply to industries and professions listed in the market access restriction list for foreign investor, as Mr. Thái just outlined, I would also like to share some principles regarding market access restriction for foreign investor in industries or profession where Vietnam has not yet met commitments on market access.
I believe that our listener would first like you to share more about the definition on industry where Vietnam has not yet committed to market access. We haven't discussed about this definition so far, so Mr. Thành, could you please provide us and for the listener more detail to help our listener better understand on this definition?
Yeah, of course. And according to Clause 13, Article 2, Sub-Decree number 31, 2021, Industries where Vietnam had not yet committed to market access refer to those industries in which Vietnam, under international investment treaties, had not met commitments or had reserved the right to implement measures that do not conform to obligations related to market access, national treatment, or other non-discriminatory obligation between domestic and foreign investors as specified in those international investment treaties. For example, industries where Vietnam has not committed to market access and its WTO service schedule. Accordingly, if the laws, resolution of National Assembly, ordinances, resolution of the standing committees of the National Assembly, or decrees of governments, hereinafter collectively referred as to Vietnamese law, do not provide restriction on market access for that sector, then foreign investors are allowed to access the market under the same condition as domestic investors. If Vietnamese law has already stipulated market access restriction for foreign investors in that sector, the provision of Vietnamese law will apply. In case where Vietnamese law, as I just mentioned, is newly issued, hereinafter referred to as the newly issued document, and includes market access conditions for sectors where Vietnam has not yet committed to market access, those conditions will apply as follows. First, foreign investors who have already been subject to market access conditions for sector where Vietnam has not yet committed to market access before newly issued document come into effect may continue their investment activity under those conditions.
Excuse me, Mr. Thành, for our better understanding on this case and for our listeners to understand it better, I would like to present a small example. Is that okay with you?
Oh, sure, Mr. Thái, it's your turn.
Okay. For example, if sector A in the market has no market access condition and there is investor X purchase capital contribution in a company, let's say Y, and which operate in sector A, their new document will be issued that introduce market access condition for sector A. So investor X may continue their investment activity under original condition, specifically without any market access condition in this case, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I will give the second case, that is in the case of new investment such as equity investment, share purchase, or acquisition of capital contribution in another economic organization. As per today's topic, if the newly issued document requires compliance with market access condition, those conditions must be met. However, the competent state authority may not re-evaluate market access condition for sector where the investor had previously been approved. And let's explain this example of this case for you. If after the new document takes effect, investor X want to purchase shares in company B, I will call this a company B, and which operate in sector A, the new market access condition would apply. However, the state authority cannot re-evaluate the condition for investor X prior investment in company Y, as you told me.
Thank you, Mr. Thành. And beside the principle of applying market access condition according to Vietnamese law, another important aspect that I often research before advising our client involve international treaties and the market access condition for sector on those treaties. So how can we provide specific advice to the client when there are both market access conditions under Vietnamese law and those under international treaties? According to Decree number 31, 2021, the principle for applying this condition related to international treaties are as follows. First, foreign investors from countries or territories that are not members of the WTO when investing in Vietnam are subject to the same market access condition as those from WTO members country, unless otherwise stipulated by Vietnamese law or international treaties between Vietnam and that country or that territory. For example, there are several free trade agreements between Vietnam and that country. Secondly, foreign investors subject to the provision of an international investment treaty that offer more favorable market access condition than those provided under the Vietnamese law may apply the market access condition of the treaties. Thirdly, if a foreign investor is subject to different international treaties with varying market access conditions, they may choose to apply the condition of one treaties for all business sector. In this case, the investor must comply with all provisions of the chosen treaty, including any newly signed or amended treaties after the initial treaties came into effect. Next, regarding restriction on foreign ownership percentage as stipulated in international investment treaties, the application is as follows. In the first case, if multiple foreign investors contribute capital, purchase share, or acquire capital contribution in a business organization, and they are subject to one or more international investment treaties, the total foreign ownership in that organization must not exceed the highest percentage allowed under any of the applicable treaties for a specific sector.
Mr. Thái, could I please explain the example for our listener, please?
Yes, you can. You may present your example.
Okay, for example, I think if investor X from the US and investor Y from Thailand, they want to invest in company A where operate industry B. The treaty between the US and Vietnam only allow 49% ownership in industry B, while the treaty between Thailand and Vietnam allow 51%. So when X and Y invest in company A, their combined ownership cannot exceed 51, right?
Yeah, that's just about right in this case. And for the second case, if multiple foreign investors from the same country or territory contribute capital, purchase share, or acquire capital contribution in a business organization, the total ownership must not exceed the percentage specified in the international investment treaty applicable to those investors. And third case, for public company, securities company, fund management company, or securities investment fund, if the security laws stipulate a different foreign ownership limits, the provision of the security law will apply. And lastly, if an economic organization engaged in multiple sectors with different foreign ownership limit under international investment treaty, the foreign ownership in that organization must not exceed the lowest ownership limit applicable to any of those sectors. For this example, I would like to present for you and our listener. If investor X invests in company A, which operate in sector I like to call F and G and H, and international treaties stipulate an ownership limit for sector F is 50% and 49% for sector G and 30% for sector H. Then the foreign ownership must not exceed 30% when investor X acquire capital contribution in the company A.
Dear listeners, we have now reached the halfway points of our discussion on equity investment, including capital contribution, share purchase, and stake purchase. And I hope that the information that we have shared so far has been helped you a lot. At the time for this podcast episode is limited, Mr. Thái and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Mr. Thái and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, where we will continue our discussion on the procedures for registering capital contribution, share purchase, and stake purchase, also known as the procedures for conducting investment activity in this form for foreign investor.
Thank you, dear listener, for your attention. If you have any questions or concern, please leave a comment down below. For more information about BLawyers Vietnam, feel free to visit our website, which you can find below the podcast screen of the Lawyer Talk. Goodbye and see you next time.
See you the next time.